Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Soul Talks with Alka. Women Empowerment Month is not just a 1 month deal. I think it is. Women are empowered all the time. We meet strong women all the time. And strong women are not born. They are made out of the storms that they have to go through. And with me, I have a giant today. And with that, I will welcome Suchitra. When she sent me her bio, I was like, wow. I can't even read this bio, much less tell everyone. She is from IIT Delhi. She is a major political activist. She's the president of Inspiring South Asian Women. It's a nonprofit organization. She sits on many cabinets. She is a force to reckon with. All that in a very demure-looking person, which she is not. And I will tell you where this lady comes from. So, Suchitra, tell us a little bit about where this storm is from.
I believe the seed of the storm is like the seed of everything you mentioned is already there. It's just the atmosphere that, fans it or shines light on it, and then it sprouts more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you came here, right? You're married. You were married.
Yeah.
You have 2 kids.
Yes.
Right? But your marital life was not at all pleasant, right? So talk to us about where that motivation came from.
Okay. So I'll begin the story at the point from when I was already married. I'm
right.
Going to build up. Yeah. So from the beginning, very beginning, it was very violent, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship was very violent. A lot of control. No freedom to speak, basically. Cannot express your own opinions. And then, just getting physically hit for the smallest of the reasons. And that's not it. And all that I learned after I actually freed myself from this relationship. I could, of course, realize the physical hitting part was wrong.
Right.
But what I realized after is the emotional aspect was also wrong.
Absolutely.
The verbal was wrong. The financial control was wrong. Pretty much everything was wrong. There was nothing right about it.
That's right.
But yeah, this is a learning curve. Like, it's everybody grows from what their experiences have been. And what I would say is, whatever was, I wouldn't say suppressed, but whatever did not get a chance to grow, I just let it bloom after that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, but, a lot of us, right? I've been through a divorce, and there was a little bit of that. It wasn't so much, but a little bit of emotional abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse is always there. How did you get out of that relationship? How did you get out to say, because a lot of times people will see a strong woman initially and say, she will never understand, right? But you never know what's happening behind closed doors.
Yes.
So you don't know who's going through what. It doesn't always mean, sometimes the meekest women are the strongest, and the strongest women are very different. So tell me how you had the strength to get out of it.
So, I think this is a tough question because I always had the strength, but I was using it for the wrong purpose. I was using it to take it in and hope that this is going to get better because I'm so strong and I'm taking it all in, and because I'm so, what is the right word? I'm struggling to find that. I'm bearing it all, I'm bearing it all. I'm not saying a word. I'm doing everything what he wants me to do. So I'm so strong, right? But that was not the right use of the strength because you're doing that because you want to avoid a conflict, right? Externally. But what you don't realize is that the conflict is not gone. It's inside you. It's just not outside. And that's as harmful as the conflict that would be outside if I opened my mouth or if I, told I don't want to take this. Well, I did tell I don't want to take this, but then I was shut down again. But I think, you have to strategize and say, okay, this is not working. Somewhere, I think, even with all the strength, I was very naive and very gullible. And I think all women are probably when they're young and, like they've just come out. So that played a long part. Like, it took me a while to realize that this is not a temporary problem. This is not going to change ever. And it's always surprising to know that your best supporters are other women. It's always other women. And I was into some groups, like my hobby groups, like I love studying something, a particular subject. And one of the women there, she kind of figured it out and she didn't say much. She only said, it's always going to be something or the other. He's never going to be happy. That kind of set me into thinking, like, she's right. Like, let's say I don't like this brown table. Okay, I'll fix it. I'll make it a black table. You don't like that either. Then I'll bring you a white table. That's not perfect either. So a person who has decided that they don't want to be happy with you, they will never be happy with you.
That's true. Were you ever scared for your life?
Yes, there were multiple times. Multiple times.
And how old were your kids?
Okay, so this has been ongoing. So they have seen it since they were born.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But there were a couple of times, and I can go into the details if that's okay with the audience.
Yeah.
Everybody. There was a time when he actually pulled out a knife on me. And my children were 5 and 8 that time.
Wow.
And they saw it.
And what was their reaction?
They ran down into the basement. They were scared. They always knew that he was abusive. They had seen it. But they didn't think that he would kill me, like initially. But this was too close to death. And what they say, everybody has that survival instinct. I actually pushed him. That was the first time in my life I pushed him. And I ran out of my house.
Wow. Did he come after you?
He came. It took him like a few minutes to realize because he was fighting over something because he was very suspicious about everything. Like, probably I'm having an affair. Of course. Why not?
It's all your fault.
After having 2 children with you, I'm having an affair with an outside person, of course. That's, So whatever. But so he wanted to look at something, my computer basically, and he got distracted with that. He didn't realize that I had run away. I ran into my neighbors who were taking a walk with a stroll for the baby. And they took me inside, they gave me water, they thought it's a normal fight. They did see I was not wearing any shoes. I was having only one earring because he had slapped me, one earring fell off. And my hair was like, So they thought like some robbers came or what happened. And they were, when I told them my husband is bothering me, they thought it's a fight. And
so you still didn't tell them?
No. I was that idiot, basically. I shouldn't call that because anybody else is watching. They should not think about themselves like that.
Yeah.
But I think every woman needs to know and deserves to know what are the signs of abuse. That's what I didn't have that education on.
So if you have to tell the audience, what are the signs of abuse?
So the biggest red flag is that somebody is trying to put you down for everything. Like they try to eliminate your self-confidence in yourself. Whether it is your ability to go out and work, whether it is the way you look, or whether it is your ability to carry on any function. They will try to downplay that, maybe insult you, make you lose your confidence. That's number 1. Number 2, very important, they will isolate you from all your friends, family. Oh, your mother didn't talk to me properly. Stop calling her. This friend, I don't think she likes us. Stop meeting her. Every single person has a problem. You have to stop, contact. Yes, of course, because once they isolate you, it's easier to control you, right? And I did not know these signs, because my family did not have anything like that. I had no clue, like people could hit their wives. I had no clue at all. At the most, people would say something, I don't like this. That's it. That was our level of aggression.
Right.
And this was like a whole other extreme, which was never heard of, never thought of, So I didn't even say anything. And one thing to realize is the most important, I think, abuse can happen to anybody, just anybody. It doesn't matter what your educational level is. Doesn't matter how beautiful you are or how ugly you are. Doesn't matter whether you're working, non-working, whether you're a professional, housewife, doesn't matter. It can happen to anybody, any financial status. But it's a power game, okay? It's a power game. It's not that you've done something wrong. That's what they'll make you feel. It's not that you've done something wrong. It's a game of power. And women who have less support in their family, like my father had already died. I had no brother, which is considered a symbol of strength in India, right? Like you have brothers.
Male figures.
Yeah, male figures. I did not have that. And I was in the USA, a country other than my homeland. So the idea is to get that power and exercise that power on you when you don't have people to back you up. So it's all a power game. Because, it could happen to anybody though, I'm not saying, but at that moment, if there's nobody to back you, that's when it comes out. And you don't say anything for whatever reasons, like for the sake of your kids, or what are my parents going to think, what's society going to think, what am I going to do, where am I going to do, those things will make you stay. He's not going to think that you stayed because of that.
Yeah.
He is going to think, okay, I can do this again.
Or I can do more.
I can do more.
Yeah.
And it grows and it grows and it grows. It never stops.
So going back to that episode, right? Did you decide that was it? This is it? Now it's gotten to my life?
No, unfortunately. I ran out of my house. I did not know where I was going. I really did not know. Because I didn't have a car at that time. I didn't take money. I just ran to save my life. Right. I had no idea where I was going. Those neighbors, they called on the cops. And of course, the cops did what they had to. And then, our family, you'll be surprised at this. And this would happen to a lot of women. Our family, not my family, his family kind of intervened. And a lot went through. We were separated for a long time. And they kind of, I said, I'm not going to take him back unless somebody promises that he's not going to hit me.
Right.
It's a different thing when you're disagreeing. All couples can disagree and maybe even have horrible fights, but being physical is not acceptable.
Right.
Nobody was willing to make that promise, okay? Because they knew their son, right?
Right.
So ultimately, somebody kind of convinced me. I did take him back with a condition if this repeats,
It's over.
It's over. That was the worst mistake of my life. Worst mistake of my life, till date. The day I took him in, I knew I had trapped myself into something because now he was more careful.
Yeah.
And those couple of years or whatever months I spent with him, they're the worst time period of my life. The first time when the cops came in, they saw blue marks all over my body, okay? It was literally blue. So they said, we can't let him go because we see those marks. It's the law of New Jersey. So he got that from them. He heard it. So next time he was very careful and he said, I'm going to kill you in a way that there will be no blue marks. He put a comforter on my face. He would push my face down on a mattress and he would sit on me. And he would say, you'll suffocate and die. There will be no blue marks.
Damn.
And he would take my dupatta, an Indian dress, and he would stuff it in my mouth. And don't make noise. Because now the neighbors knew a little bit, right? People knew a little bit. So nobody should get any, clues at all.
So when he's doing this again, you still didn't say, okay, now
I couldn't do anything because I was completely trapped.
Now you're trapped.
I was 100% trapped. He was tracking my phone. He was tracking everything.
Yeah, because he had come back with a vengeance at this point.
Yes. Because now people knew and he had to fix his image and he had to somehow prove that because he had said, I have an affair, now he has to prove that, right? Because where is this guy? She took you back in. Where's that guy?
Right.
So how do you prove that? So he would make my life so miserable and he would tell me, why don't you leave the house? Because if I leave the house, he has a story to tell. And I said, I'm not going to leave the house. Because where am I going to go, honestly? My parents don't live here. I don't have any other thing.
And so where are your kids?
Kids were in the house.
So when he's sticking a dupatta in your mouth and...
They were in their bedrooms. They were scared to death.
Oh my God.
My son actually said to me one day, the next morning, he said, till the time you were crying, I was okay that I knew you were alive. But when you stopped crying, I thought you were dead.
Oh my God.
But I got out of that because my kids couldn't take it anymore. They went and complained in the school. It kind of came out of my hands. It was good. We had a whole roller coaster after that. The authorities got involved. They made me do a plan with them because of course I wanted to get out too.
Yeah.
I was 100% trapped. They made a plan with me and I actually took my kids one day and I just left the home. And this time I checked into a hotel. I stayed there for 5 days till I actually went into court and filed a restraining order.
And he was at home?
He was at home. There was a whole plan that the authorities chalked it out, and I was expected to follow, and I was happy to do that. Like they didn't force me to do that, of course, because I would have died. Like honestly, and I kept telling him like one day it's going to be that I'm dead, even though you didn't intend to kill me. But I just died. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
And the kids are going to be orphans.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that? He had no answer.
So after you got out, how long did it take you to kind of make peace with it? Because you don't understand that this happened to you, right? You don't understand that, oh my God, I went through all of this and why didn't I get out earlier? What made me stay? Like, how did you get out of?
Like come out of the whole experience?
What kind of the whole experience?
So I think everybody needs therapy.
Yes.
And to make you understand that the problem is with him, everybody can see that. Everybody knows. But there's a problem with you. Why did you stay? Why did you think that your life or your self-esteem is less important than his? So there is a problem with you. Like it sounds bad, like if you said that or somebody else said that to another victim, it would sound really bad. But as a person who's gone through it, I think it's facing the truth.
Yeah.
There is a problem with me.
Yeah.
There was.
Okay.
Like, why do I have to think like my opinion is less important than yours? Okay? Opinion is okay. It's like it's a privilege, you know. Free countries have that privilege. A lot of countries don't have that privilege. But like basic things, you know, any kind of basic thing. Why, like when he had come back into my house, I was sleeping in my daughter's room, in the basement, sometimes in the bathroom. I was sleeping in all kinds of places, hoping that he doesn't wake up in the night, because if he did, he would kick me and wake me up. How come you're sleeping? I'm doing a full-time job. I'm getting money in the house, maybe equal or maybe more. I'm paying all the bills. I was an idiot, I'm telling you. I was. No, I really feel. Because on top of that, I'm taking this load. Why?
Why?
Why? I understand, like, I'm not justifying it, but women sometimes live in those relationships because they're not financially independent.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I would like to say to women. You should have some skills so that you can take up a job or sustain yourself in some way. You should have a plan for that. And even if you're in a loving relationship, I think having that independence is always a plus.
Yes.
You know, because nobody can take you for granted.
Yes. Agreed.
Right? But let's say you quit your job for whatever reason, your kids are small or you know, that's your arrangement with your husband, it's fine. But you still don't need to take any BS from anybody.
Yeah.
You just don't need to.
Right.
There is no need. And self-worth is such an important concept, honestly.
Yes.
It doesn't have to do with any of your educational qualification, how you look, how well you dress, how much money you have. A person who is not having any of these still deserves respect.
That's right.
And that's something I learned much later.
Yeah.
Much later.
So how did you learn that?
There were many factors. Like, of course, initially I got help.
Okay.
One of my friends, she is a therapist, okay? She would talk to me for hours, believe me. If I had to pay her, I would be bankrupt. and she would be a millionaire. But she did talk to me. She's a specialist in this. She lives in Canada, and like we used to talk international for hours and hours and hours. And I understood. And then I started doing I got more involved in the community, and I think the fact that you're able to do something and help others, it always brings some self-worth into it. Okay,
That's right.
I'm not that useless. I can do something, And honestly, I was paying the bills and doing everything, running the household myself, even before this. And when I started doing it after, I was like, hey, what was that? My life feels a lot lighter.
Yes.
Because when I was separating, his brother said, they knew him, of course. So they said, it's like, pick your poison,
Yeah.
Because kids are young. Life is hard. Even if you're in US, life is going to be hard with 2 young kids, no family to support. It's going to be hard. But living with him is another, it's not easy.
Yeah.
So you pick your poison. And the authorities kind of told me the same. They said, you're a grown-up woman, educated woman.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you how to live your life.
Yeah.
But you cannot allow the kids to live with him.
Yeah.
They are that's what they're seeing, that's what they're observing.
Yes.
And
Did the kids go for therapy?
They did.
They did.
And that kind of hit me.
Yeah.
Even if in the back of my mind, if I'm thinking somewhere that I'm doing this for the kids, they're not really benefiting.
Yeah.
They're not. In fact, I'm doing more harm to them than, So I just think there's no reason for anybody to stay in an abusive relationship. There's absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
People will say, regardless of what you do,
Yeah.
people will say that. I think the communities are changing now, which is good.
Yes.
But the time that we were young and, we were, any marital discord was why can't there must be a problem with her.
Right.
And I have to bring that up. That's, oh my God. Initially, if I went somewhere with the young kids, especially our community, I love our community. But, let's face our, weaknesses as well. The first question they would ask is, your husband doesn't mind you go everywhere alone? And I'm like, well, I don't have one. I don't live with him anymore. I would just say I don't have one because I don't have one.
Right. Exactly.
And they were like, why did he beat you? Okay, tell me a good answer for a man to beat a woman.
Yeah.
Tell me, what is the reason? She didn't cook. Is that a reason?
Yeah.
Well, I was cooking, but let's say I didn't.
Right.
Is that a good reason for him to come and beat me?
Yeah.
Let's say I didn't earn something.
Yeah. Is that a good reason?
Is that a good reason? Let's say the worst, okay? A woman is really having the affair that he's thinking. You can leave her.
Right.
Divorce her.
Yeah.
But is that a good reason to beat her?
Yeah.
What is she going to do? So that reason is wrong. I haven't, till date, never found a reason which tells me, okay, this is a good reason for him to beat you.
Yeah. I know, but because there isn't.
There isn't.
That's probably why you haven't found one.
No, and I will never find it because there isn't one.
Yeah.
So I think that's something everybody has to realize.
But so how did you bloom? All of a sudden you came out of this thing you have to heal, right? But then you came out and you bloom like a flower and you're everywhere you go, it's like Suchitra is leading this, Suchitra is leading that. What happened? How did the caterpillar become the butterfly?
Okay, I really have to give credit to God or universe for that, because when you try to help yourself, everybody wants to help you. Okay, I've met some really good people, and when I say good, not because they help me, because they're genuinely nice people. When they're helping me, they don't think, oh, is she going to go ahead of me, or is she going to be a threat for me? They don't. They're genuinely nice people. They're very comfortable and confident in their own space.
Yeah.
And honestly, nobody can replace anybody else. Everybody has their own place.
Yeah.
Because just because somebody started doing what I'm doing, they can't be a threat to me.
Right.
Maybe we can work together.
Right.
And work better and help each other with the other leads,
Yeah.
When I was having my business, somebody came and said oh, we're competitors. I said, no, there's enough work for everybody.
That's right.
And
there's enough work for
yeah, and if I have a thing that I can do, I can send you away and you can do the same. We can work together. There's no reason for anybody to feel, threatened by anybody. And I was really fortunate that I've got a lot of people in my life.
That's
who are
awesome.
like that. You are one of them.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
there are a lot of people.
Yes.
Okay, and I think together, you move forward.
Absolutely.
I think that's what it is.
So if you have to tell women, I mean, obviously you gave us 3 warning signs, right, of what not to do, but on how to get out of there, heal. Everybody goes through maybe not such an extreme situation, but can go through any sort of a situation. But how to get out and heal and then bloom.
Okay. I think the first step is to believe that you deserve to bloom. I think that's the first step. Because if it's not in you, nobody can force you to bloom.
Yeah.
Some flowers don't bloom,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It has to be in you. And you have to believe it. Because, again, like if you've seen jigsaw puzzles or those tapestries, like they beautifully weave, every single thread has its own place. And without that, there's no complete picture.
Lovely. Beautiful.
Right.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, if I rip off one little thread from a carpet, the whole picture looks very ruined.
Yeah.
So everybody has to realize that they have something in them and they have their own place. Not everybody could be the president, right?
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because if we had 100 presidents, there's no beauty in it, right? But the president needs an assistant, and that person has their own value. He probably has a chauffeur. They have their own value. So don't try to become somebody else. Just stay true to what you are, who you are, what your beliefs are. I think that's very important. I know it sounds very theoretical. I used to think like that too, and I used to hear it.
It's not.
But that's the essence. That is the essence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much,
You're
Suchitra, because I think if we all learn that, it really is. You have to first believe in yourself. You have to believe that you deserve to bloom. And if you deserve to bloom and you have a role and you have a part and you can do what you want to do. So thank you. You really, really, really are a force to reckon with. And I have been wanting to call you for so long, and I've texted you so many times, but at some point or the other, it's just like, should I, shouldn't I? And I'm so happy that we finally did it. It was the right time. The universe has its all planned.
Yes, I agree. And thank you so much for having me here. I really hope this helps somebody,
Yeah.
It's one thing to talk about our experience, but if it helps somebody, it gives somebody some inspiration to just come out, I think the purpose has been solved.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you again for watching Soul Talks with Alka. We'll see you again next time. Thank you.
Thank you.